Hey, Gavats here. So, I want to talk about a new game mode idea I have had in the past. I've talked about it on the podcast, I think, before, Twitch stream, stuff like that. But I kind of want to put it all together and kind of go over what I would ideally want out of it after thinking through it a while, taking my time putting it together. So, because this all stems from Michael Young saying they got a new game mode coming to Madden 20. They don't know if it'll make the beta or not. But basically, on the podcast a few weeks ago, we speculated it's going to be a 7-on-7 type of game mode. But who knows what's coming. Anyways, this game mode that I kind of want to see, I've talked about before the other game modes that I've talked about, like draft champions, salary cap, house rules, and we got those event type style stuff. So those have all been implemented in the game, which is awesome. This next one, it's kind of like an inspiration from roguelike games and those dungeon crawlers and like deck building games like Dominion and stuff. I guess Slay the Spire, is an apt comparison. I can't speak, which you guys will find out more about in this video. I guess basically the mode is like a team builder. Like you see so many of us YouTubers do this through like stipulations or whatever. You take your team and you build it through challenges and head-to-head and other things I'll get to below as you try and like work your way up through through and grab a Super Bowl with your team. Then you get rewards at the end. But by navigating our version of this dungeon and not the sex dungeon like most people I come into contact with have to navigate. I'd ideally like our dungeon crawler roguelike experience to be like, I would say like a Cruising USA type thing where you start from like the West Coast, where you choose from like 4 different starting points, maybe like Seattle, San Francisco, / Oakland, Los Angeles, San Diego, and you kind of like choose like your path as you go along across the United States. And I kind of want it ideally to be like a procedurally generated as you move across into different like options for challenges you take on as you move from the West Coast to Miami for the Super Bowl in 2020, which is why this is perfect for Madden 20. But basically the different routes are laid out in front of you, and basically your goal is just to get all the way across. And if you lose, it's permadeath. You lose that entire run, you lose your team, you cash out your rewards right there. So basically, it's high stakes Madden, and you encounter challenges against the computers and other players, which we'll get to in a little bit. That's kind of like the overview, the 10,000 foot view of it. Now, to kind of get into the nitty gritty details of what this game mode I hope would have and some of the depth in it. So there's a few different ways of doing this, and I kind of wrote them both down, and I haven't decided which one I like better. But there's kind of the choose your team, and you get an entire MUT theme team. I don't think it should be the best player from that whole theme team, but a few of the best players, all of them overall to equal out to like a team around 80 overall. Let's say so like maybe you'll get, if you're like Browns, you'll get like Odell and Garrett, but you won't get maybe Baker as your quarterback. Maybe you need Baker as your quarterback because then you're kind of like a disaster. So maybe the starting quarterbacks in your squad, and then maybe like one of the superstars if they have a superstar. Otherwise, choosing the Dolphins, you might just have a bad time overall. Or the other solution, or other option could be not necessarily like theme teams like that. Could be an all power up squad, kind of like I did this year on YouTube, where you start with that 68 overall team, and the level of the cards are upgraded along the way once you hit like special conditions, special bonuses. So like if we go the theme team route, and I think each team should have like a special bonus, like I talked about. We'll talk about adding more bonuses along the way. The Steelers could have, for example, +6 to route running if you choose the Steelers squad or the Steelers jerseys or something like that. And we'll talk about coaches in a bit. So like, and then once you choose your team, whatever they decide to implement, you choose your first formations. So you get an option of maybe like 3 formations, not just playbooks, but formations. You start really bare bones. 68 overall, maybe you get 1 offensive formation, 1 defensive formation, and then what type of team you are: a pass, a run defense team, a pass D team, and then you get certain boosts. You get certain boosts to your squad, all the players on the squad through that. And then these choices will then influence some of your choices you're giving for bonuses and cards down the road. And then as the player, you kind of decide, how do I maximize my strength and minimize my weakness? So like the different paths I talked about earlier, where you can do multiple things. So once you get your team, you hit the road. And then each way you'll go, you'll have multiple options of going down different roads. So there's gonna be solo moments, quote unquote. And after these solo moments, you earn coins, cards, abilities, both standard abilities you can equip to your players and X Factor abilities. Traits too would be nice to add on to them. I don't know if they could change traits on players. Ideally they could. Like the more options, the better, in my opinion. X Factor abilities would ideally have like an added choice in game once you're in gameplay through the play call or audible screen to activate it. Like either once you're on the field or in the play call screen, so your component know, oh my god, he just activated his X Factor button. But like however best they could code that for the gameplay, because I know the gameplay team has a little bit more trouble coding these things than the MUT team. This could be like a consumable, so once you use it, you lose it until you have to re-earn it or rebuy it from the shop. In-game money earned through those challenges, you can use them to purchase upgrades at a shop. And the shop is going to be basically like along the road that you go. You'll kind of be able to offer the opportunity, maybe go to the shop or go on to another challenge, and you can use those coins to kind of see what they have offered for you and then purchase it for upgrades for your team. And this includes the abilities that I talked about, traits, boosts, clothing and equipment boosts to help individual players or groups of players. You could purchase different formations on O and D. You could maybe buy coaches that brought on board to help either the whole team, the offense, the defense, and their offense defense coordinator, and then of course specific position coaches too. So all this can be both bought and earned in game through drops, and of course you'll have a choice sometimes after certain drops. Treasure chests, there'll be like treasure chests given where you get to be able to like open it and see what kind of new stuff you add to your team. I like gambles, like what's behind the door, where you could choose between coins, curses, like you'll pick one of 3 doors, and like 2 of them maybe like good stuff, like coins or a potion or an ability or something like that. And then like another one would be like a curse. So like 1 out of 3 chance of getting a curse to your team. So you lose maybe like 1 speed across the board. Like, dang, I chose the wrong door. And you can see what's behind the other 2 doors as kind of like, oh my god. So you also then like maybe spin the wheel. You could add that too if we're talking about YouTube series. Maybe a big old Jeopardy style thing. You hit the button and you're like, okay, now boost. You now got +1 block shed for all your defenders. So different kind of rewards like that. But then it comes to the head-to-head. Once you've kind of gone through, like you'll go along the way and increasing difficulty with the solos, with the moments, different like maybe drills you can do from the gauntlet. So those will increase in difficulty along the way. And then like you'll also play head-to-head. So once you beat an opponent in head-to-head, I think you should be able to take maybe a couple cards from his team. We've seen this, and like I said, Slay the Spire, you get to get a card after every time you beat a boss, or sometimes there's different things, but you generally get to add a card to your team. So maybe you could take a couple of cards from the opponent's roster, add it to yours, and then kind of roll on from there. So you get stronger as you defeat the dungeon monsters, players, and other type of challenges. Maybe quizzes too, mini games, because I know they're having mini games again. But so I think overall you'll need to win 10 head-to-head games to win like the Super Bowl, because 10 wins in a row is very tough, especially putting this much time. I don't think more than that may be too much of a time investment. And if you lose your Super Bowl game, wow, that's that devastating, because all the time you put into both the solos and whatnot. So the further you go along in the dungeon, the more rewards you get for like MUT. The 10th head-to-head game, or maybe there should be a final boss after the head-to-head game. I think the last head-to-head game should be the final boss. What do you guys think in the comments? But basically you win the Super Bowl in Miami, and then like ideally you'd have stats track along the way, and like say like a trophy case that shows what kind of like things you've done, and leaderboards to show who's gotten like the most points, who's kind of gotten the most treasure gained or highest overall team made through their run. That'd be kind of neat to see. But yeah, just kind of like in things like that kind of like show your progression and how much you've done and how much you've grinded. It's kind of like a personal kind of trophy case for you after the runs are over. So there's so many things that you can do and get through. The limitations and the downsides I see of this is it might be a little tougher for EA to monetize. So like I guess I would hate pay to win in this. I don't think there should be anything like that where you pay for like certain abilities or anything. Maybe customizable uniforms, or the equipment that you could add on your characters when they're in this dungeon run. So like your Nike Boost cleats that give you +2 speed to your DBs. You can actually get like a customizable thing that make your guys like swag out on the field or something, or like gold uniforms to really make you look out. But so that's kind of you basically have to monetize for EA through cosmetics. But if they do pay to win, just scrap the whole thing. Like that, it's not worth it at that point. So that's kind of my thought for like a in-depth kind of dungeon run to add into Madden to build the team, and to kind of go and through it and kind of build along the way as kind of like an in-depth new mode. Let me know what you guys think. Is this something cool? If you guys like this, maybe we'll do other video ideas. I got a couple other game mode ideas for Madden, and involving, you know, cards and whatnot. But thanks for watching. Call to action. I'll see you tomorrow.